Hello, everyone. Host AJ Garcia, real estate investor, coach, and mentor here. So, another podcast for you, some more motivation. That's what I'm going to keep on bringing to you. And I have a very special guest here with me this evening. So, my guest for today is out of Florida, where it's sunny and warm, I'm sure. She is a certified life coach. She is a personal trainer. I used to be a personal trainer once upon a time. She is a NPC bodybuilding competitor, a real estate investor, the CEO. Muscle Vodka, we'll talk about that, and a serial entrepreneur, Grace Gillespie. How are you?
Great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So many titles. So
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes, yes. So Grace, I met Grace down at my coach, my mentor's Frank McKinney's book, Aspire. He was doing opening to it, and we connected, started talking about some of her success, which, as you can see, a lot of titles, a lot of that. We'll be talking about some of that. But for people that don't know you, tell us about you.
So I'm basically obsessed with anything and everything health and fitness. Literally from the time I was 3 years old, I went to the gym with my dad back then, whenever people were allowed to go to the gym with their parents. And I was 3 years old. My dad's a bodybuilder. My brother and my nephew, they're
Okay.
both pro boxers. So I basically have stuck in it. And I remember being 3 years old and sitting there on the bike in the gym. It was like old school gym, and I'm looking around, I'm like enamored by like these muscles. And like, I just looked at it. And my dad, he was into juicing, and he was, into like all his protein. And at the top of our refrigerator, there was like everything like health and fitness. And my dad lived it, he would run marathons, and I also run marathons. And, I had 3 full paid scholarships in high school for cross country. So I did the whole 9 yards there.
Interesting. So that runs into, we'll get into business, but that alone, bodybuilding, that's been in your family running. So it does trail down further. So that's, I guess, you got your interest very, very early on. That's interesting. Okay. So with so many titles, and one of the things that I talk a lot about on here on these videos is time management, because somehow, some way, there's never enough time. But we managed to, right? But how do
Right.
you do so much success? You've had so much success. How do you handle so many things at once?
Well, I look at it as like time organized. Like what is important for you, you will make time for. Like
Mhm,
when a lot of my clients or someone, they come to me and they're like, I just don't have time for that. I'm like, your
mhm.
priorities are what you will do first, and you will make time for things that are important for you. If your family's important, if your, workout's important, no matter what, you will find time somehow, some way, you will find time to make it happen. There's times that like literally I didn't work out all day and it's like midnight and I'm like, sorry, gotta go to the gym. I'm fortunate enough, I have a gym in my house as well. And I also own a gym back in Cleveland. And I'm like, so if I don't do it and it's midnight, I'm like, guess what? I got to go work out. See you in a little bit. I make time where I know that that is a priority.
You have to do it. Absolutely. And talking about this, our bodybuilders, well, we talked about that. Arnold had a saying where he said, if the Pope has time to work out, if the president has time to work out, you have
Right.
time. So definitely, absolutely, and you do. You make time for those things that are most important to you at that time. So well said on that. So Grace, you've been, and I saw a lot of your social media pictures, videos, a lot of stuff, phenomenal stuff. By the way, for y'all watching this, be sure to go check out her social media and hit the subscribe, like, whatever it is that you're watching. But she has a lot of pictures with a lot of successful people, a lot of celebrities I admire for sure. What is it like, or how important is it to be around successful, positive minds?
That is like my biggest number one thing in the world.
Mm,
I always surround myself with positive people, people that, like I always say, you never want to be the smartest one in the room. If you have a room full of people, you never want to be the smartest, because you can always learn. In my whole life, I've been like a sponge. I'm always like, teach me, teach me, teach me, teach me.
mm.
I want to learn as much as I can, because no matter how smart you are in your own subject, in your own field, there's always somebody out there that knows more, that has done more, and is, like, I want to learn from my mistakes, yes, but I also want to learn from other people's mistakes. So why should I repeat mistakes if I don't have to, and if I can learn from somebody else? And like success is, brings success. I always say, if someone is pulling you down, like you're hanging over a cliff and someone's pulling you down and you're trying to pull them up, which is the first that's going to happen? Are they going to pull you down before you can pull them back up? If you're the same, like like muscularity, I guess, if you will, and he's pulling you down or she's pulling you down and you're pulling him up, who's going to bring you up first? That's why I never surround myself with negative people. And even my own family, they know if we're at a holiday or something and someone starts getting a little bit negative, I'm like, I'm going to go in the other room. You guys let me know whenever you're done talking about that. I'm over here, because my life is all about positivity. And I always say too, the most, even the most motivated human in the world needs motivating at some time or another. Like Tony Robbins, for example, he needs motivating. There'll be days that he wakes up and he's like, oh man, I just don't want to do this. Everybody has those days. And I tell my clients, I'm like, don't get down on yourself, because everybody has those days, everybody. And when you get those days, when you overcome that and you do it anyhow, that's what makes you stronger mentally and physically.
Absolutely. A couple things you mentioned on there. One, being open-minded. For all you listening in here, is you have to be open-minded. And that's a big thing with my coaches. I can try to coach you all day long, but if you're not absorbing, like you mentioned, it's not really going to do anything. And I think a lot of people are that way. They have that stubborn, that I know better kind of thing. So, and then family negativity, that's the worst. Because many times a lot of people don't know how to get around for it, but you figured out a way to just, this ain't coming over here kind of thing. So that's great advice. What keeps Grace hungry and going?
Gosh, I just always, and the funny thing is, like, a lot of people, they always look at their competition, and I'm like, I have no competition. I'm my biggest competitor. I look at things and I say, if I look and start looking at what they're doing, over there, and like competitors or something, you lose track. You start losing sight of what you don't keep your eye on the prize. I stay focused on what I want. I make, at the beginning of the year, whatever time of year, I set goals and I go after those goals. And I'm one of those people. I'm an action taker. I used to be ready, fire, aim, but as I'm maturing in my business and, learning from my own mistakes, I'm now ready, aim, fire. And so many times, like I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do this. Let's do it, before you're prepared. And sometimes it works, yes, which a lot of times it does. And then most of the time it doesn't. And you're just like, okay, I need to prepare myself more for this. And I need to learn from my mistakes. And I need to go. And always stay keeping your eye on the prize. Your 5-year goal, your 10-year goal, whatever it may be.
Great stuff so far. By the way, I'm making notes. I hope you realize that. Yes, first step to success is taking action. Yes, very well said. I mentioned in your intro though, muscle vodka, which I was very interested by, and I think anybody you talk to about is very interested in when you hear the word vodka. In a sense, alcohol. We're thinking about it. So tell us about the muscle vodka and the benefits to it.
Okay, so the long story short is, like, I own a gym and a juice bar, right? And many moons ago, like all my clients, they were always texting me on the weekends. They're like, hey, I'm going to drink. Don't tell me not to. What's the best option? And I was always like, okay, eat this, drink that, do this, do that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to create the best option. So I went to a chemist, for lack of better terms, and I said, make this happen for me. I want the cleanest form of vodka you could possibly get in this entire world. So I said, I want it gluten-free, organic, no GMOs, sugar-free, carb-free, least amount of calories you could possibly get in a vodka. I literally did a reverse osmosis to the water in the vodka, and I took it out. I took all the minerals and all the impurities out of it to make it the cleanest form of water possible. So there is no hangover. You can't technically say you won't get a hangover. However, as long as you don't mix it with sugar, because sugar is what gives the hangover, and people don't realize that. So if they mix it with vodka and cranberry, there's 36 carbs and grams of sugar in a 6-ounce pour. So people don't realize how much sugar is in cranberry and orange juice. Granted, they're good for you, but moderation is the key. And if you're looking to drink and not have a hangover, those are the two that I would side away from. Usually I'll tell people with like the soda water or something like that with no calories. But so, and also, like, when I compete, I want to be able to go to social environment, go to social events, and be like, you know what, I want to sit here and have a drink socially. I don't want to sit here with sipping on water. So I can literally drink my vodka up to 2 weeks prior to competing. And I don't know if you follow, like, in the bodybuilding world, like Ronnie Coleman, he was like Mr. Olympia, like all the Olympians, they swear by, and their coaches always say, make sure you do a shot of vodka the night before, because it'll dry you out, it'll lean you down. Yep. And it's so funny, because like when I go to the bodybuilding shows, like, with the vodka, everyone's like, okay, give me a shot. I want to get some the night before. And I send them to the store and I say, here, you got to go have your vodka there. And everybody, then of course it's great for celebrating.
There you go. No, and I'm not at the level of Ronnie Coleman by any means. I'm well aware who he is. Um, but yeah, no, that's actually interesting that they do that, and even thinking into that, coaches need coaches, mentors need mentors. And when it comes to bodybuilding, I've been a personal trainer, I've been a coach, but I still have a coach in that sense that when I
Yep.
bodybuild. But that is interesting. To me, it was wine. They've always gave me wine of some sort. I don't really know which one I would want better, or which one does better. Maybe vodka does it itself. But yeah, that is interesting that the day before, and even one show I did a shot a few hours before stage. So I
Yep.
don't know. I don't know what
Try
it
it.
did, but it was a nice drink to have nonetheless. So, but with this muscle vodka, it is nevertheless it's healthier alternative. So that's always great. How can people get it, by the way?
My website, it's www.musclevodka.net. And you can go there. It just has a buy now. I also have a champagne out. It's a muscle sparkling wine, and that's on my website as well.
There you go. For those of you needing a drink or wanting a drink, visit our website and get yourself a drink. So Grace, as I mentioned earlier, the main reason we make these videos is to motivate people. I get most motivated when I hear somebody like yourself who is so successful and have so much more I'm sure you're working on. It's just something about it. There's that drive. I want more because I see it being done. So what is one message you can give to people getting started or trying to get into business today?
I would always say never be complacent and never be satisfied where you are. So yes, be very grateful for where you got to, but I would always say like I never am like I always want to be going more and going more and going more.
Yes.
So if you're complacent and you're hitting a plateau, that's like usually something in your mind. And you know what? I need to go further. You should never be comfortable. My life has never had like one comfortable moment. The second I remotely feel comfortable, I'm like, I need to go further. I need to get bigger. I need to expand, grow, reach out to this person, reach out to that person. I want to go to the next level. There's always a next level. That's the great thing about life is there's never like a limit. You could always go higher and bigger and higher and bigger. And you should always be striving for that. When you wake up in the morning, like I used to tell my clients, I'm like, there is people that would do anything to be able to get out of bed to be where you are right now.
Mhm.
And they look at that and I'm like, take care of yourself now so somebody else doesn't have to take care of you later. And I'm always telling them, you should always be excited about the day because there's so much, we're so blessed and thankful. In this world that we live in, we have so much to go after and there's so much that we can do. And literally it's endless. The possibilities are endless what we can do. And I always tell people, I'm like, don't even aim for the stars because that's not even high enough. Just keep going. You can go further than the stars.
Mhm.
you know
Absolutely. Yeah, and we see that we see that a lot, and a lot with people into business is getting comfortable. Do not get comfortable even with your own success. Yeah, I would agree with that. And it's not always easy, but it's definitely one of those things where if you're not growing, so pick it, one of those things. So Grace, I believe that motivation is phenomenal. I definitely think that it's a great booster, but I don't think that it's always there. I believe motivation comes and goes, and if it's there, use it. If it doesn't, keep on going anyway. How do you stay motivated?
I do know every morning, like just for me personally, when I wake up, I always do like devotions to start my day off, right? And I have declarations that I declare over myself and my businesses every morning. I declare what I want. And I believe that like the words you speak get you to where you want to be. So if I
Yes.
wake up and I say, I'm successful and, like look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm going to have a great day. I'm so successful. My businesses are prosperous, and to sit there and declare things, the more you say things, the more you believe it and the more you feel it in your heart and the more faith that you have in your own self and your own company and your own businesses and your own endeavors. That's like, it's so dramatically worth it to even do that. Even if somebody isn't like a believer and completely like, they don't, they're starting to doubt their business or they're like, oh my gosh, the economy, this, the economy, that. If you wake up and you say these things, the positive things declare them over your businesses, over yourself, over your family, over everything that you want to see prosper. It's like, when you plant a seed, that's how it blooms. You got to plant seeds. If you never plant a seed, you can't go out there and be like, oh, why is it not growing? Because you never planted that seed, and then not only do you got to plant it, but you also got to nurture it. You got to water it, and that's how I feel about like your motivation, your life. If you wake
Mhm.
up and, you're thinking negative thoughts, that's how you start your day. So I always start my day with a happy, positive thought. And I it's so funny. Like before, you're gonna laugh at me, but I used to try and fall asleep with a smile on my face. So I would like try and wake up, and every time I'd like try and wake up and say, "Am I still smiling?" But it's very, I
That's
promise.
interesting.
Yeah, is that funny?
Committed. I like it. So you would just close your eyes and smile?
I would look like the biggest dork. I'd be like, just sitting there and smile until I fell
But hey,
asleep.
if it worked, it worked. And definitely set a standard for yourself every day. I do believe that. I am a high believer in your words becoming your reality, good, bad, or different. So what you speak out, and you hear people saying it all the time. Oh, I don't feel good. Oh, I'm having a horrible day. Like, don't say that. Like, say the opposite, even if you don't, sooner or later you have to believe it.
Exactly.
So, but hey, is what it is. So you wrote a book as well. Mental preparation and body transformation, which I got it, by the way, and I need it signed.
Thank
So
you.
there it is. For those of you who are also looking for that, order the book. How can they find this book?
Actually, I have 4 books out, and that's one of my 4. That was my very first book, and that's
Okay.
on. It's basically 30 days to mentally prepare yourself for the body of your dreams. So if I always tell people, like if you come to me and you're doing it for somebody else, it's not going to happen. You got to want to do it for you. And the only way you can do it for you is if you mentally prepare yourself. If you're ready, your mind will take you to limits you never thought you could go to. It's so crazy. And I have that book. That was my motivation book. And then I also have a how to go grocery shopping and read label book. And I have a cookbook, and I also have a healthy cocktail book. So it's all about muscle vodka recipes and healthy fun recipes.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. So definitely
did I answer
something
your
to check
question?
out. Only a few more questions. I want to talk just a couple questions on this here is for those of you wondering, okay, because yes, like I mentioned, I've been a personal trainer as well. And one thing, and it doesn't matter what field you're talking about, everybody has a lot of excuses. Those are free. They come in bulks, right? Can
Mhm.
any and everybody get into shape?
Absolutely. As long as you are able to and physically able to, you absolutely can. And I say this all the time, like, excuses, you will give me an excuse. Every excuse that someone gives me, I can give you something to overcome it. And I actually have, like, I have a list for all my clients. Like, I don't have enough time. I don't have this. And I have a whole list of excuses, and I have a whole list of solutions.
Mhm.
So, and I'll give them to them, and I'll be like, okay, here's an excuse. And anytime somebody gives me a brand new excuse, I put it on there, and I put the solution right beside it. I'm like, throw them at me. Give me as many as you can do, because what you want and what you make time for, you can't have kids and be like, oh, I want my kids healthy. I want you to eat right. I want you to take care of yourself, but you're not doing it. Like I always am a big culprit. I practice what I preach. I would never, ever tell somebody to do something that I couldn't do myself.
Mm.
I live
Very
by
well
that.
said.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Do you see an increase or decrease in people getting into fitness at this time?
Um, it's funny. Like it depends on the area you're into.
Mm.
Like if you're in a southern Florida, a lot of people, if you live like near the beach, you see a lot of
Mm.
people running and everything. However, like back home in, Ohio, like when it gets cold this time of year, when I'm back there, like, and I have my gym back there, people get a little demotivated because they're like, oh, I can put on sweaters and scarves and nobody sees me, and it is very easy to become complacent in that. You're like, oh, okay, we got the holidays, we have this, we have that, and everybody makes excuses why, okay, I can eat a little bit more of this because I'll start after the new year. And that's everyone's big excuse. It's
Mm.
funny because I always get on my mom about it, because she'll be like somewhere and she's like, okay, honey, I'm just having this because it's a holiday. So it's funny, anytime I see her like putting something in her mouth. We were at a wedding and she was putting a cookie in her mouth from afar. I took a picture and I sent it to her on her cell phone. I'm like, no, 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 no. Put that cookie
Nice.
down.
Keep them in check. That's plenty good. So what does success mean to you?
Success means to me like what I like my goals and reaching my goals,
Mm.
and success to everybody is different.
Mm.
My own success is reaching my own goals, and everybody should have a goal, because if you wake up and you have nothing to work for and nothing to look forward to, I think that is what brings a lot of people, into like a depressed mode, or like, a self depreciating mode, just
Mm.
because they're not having anything to look forward to, and they're like, okay, so now what? Like I'm living my life, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. but they don't have anything to look forward to. I think a lot of times, me, myself, I always make myself something to look forward to. I'll reward myself in a way like, okay, I'll go here, do this. I'll go bungee jumping, or I'll do this, when I reach that goal. But I always have something to look forward to in my life. I always, always, always do. So every single month I have a big, shindig, or do something, or go somewhere that's fun and exciting. And I try and do things that I never did before, go places that I never went before, meet people that I never met before. I like trying new things, and I like different things all the time. As far as like activities.
Keeps you going. Keeps you going.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, we can keep talking to you, keep getting motivated. We'll have to do this again, definitely. I'm sure a lot of people are getting motivated. I'm sure a lot of people get your book, get some muscle vodka, have you drink and read the book. There you go. What is next for Grace?
What is next for me? Actually, this week I'm opening up another juice bar here in Stuart, Florida.
Awesome.
And it's a whole big shebang place. It's right downtown. The ocean is right behind us, and it's we're doing all kind of healthy, fresh smoothies, juices, the acai bowls, the whole 9 yards. I have everything here, and we're going to be doing all kind of fun events here as well. So that's right now. And my second, like obviously I always have many irons in the fire. So like I'm opening up this. I have my final inspection with the fire department on Wednesday. So after that, I'm doing a big, huge grand opening, ribbon cutting with the mayor, all that fun stuff.
Wow.
Then right after that, I'm opening a new area for my vodka, a new state this year. Well, where are we at? Already December. The beginning of next year, I have another distributor I'm bringing on, and I'm opening up Tennessee and Las Vegas for next year and expanding that.
So there you have it. And this is what we mean by those who are most successful are always usually the busiest. A lot of people think, oh, when I succeed and I have all kinds of money, as that's the thing still, I'm gonna just relax and sit. No such thing. The more successful you get, the more hungry you should become. And keep going like Grace here. She is steady at it. I'm sure we will talk to you again in a few months on here, and you will have many, many more stories to tell us and more success that you've overcome. So can't wait to hear that. Grace, it has been awesome having you on here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I thank you for letting me be on here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, till next time, we will share this video and we will talk to you then.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great night.
Likewise. Bye-bye.